You are now tuned in to Papi Chulo Radio, your web portal for the best in pop culture news and interviews.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
This is a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. PapiChuloRadio.com is currently looking to expand its web presence, and we're looking for your help. If you're a fan of Papi Chulo Radio and its signature series, please visit GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio and help us with our campaign. Every dollar amount donated will be improving the Papi Chulo Radio experience and making it more interactive and user-friendly. We thank you in advance for your support. This has been a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Summer Camp, a PapiChuloRadio.com and iTunes exclusive. Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I'm your host and camp director, Maurice Gatewood. Tonight on Summer Camp, we are going to explore some of Hollywood's campiest flicks, cult classic motion pictures, and fan favorite films. Please welcome my co-host, assistant director, the hip-hop legend himself, Dead Lee.
Yeah, sisters are doing it for themselves. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, they are. And our director of residential life, the man from the future, Mr. Legionnaire.
It's the 90s. Plastic surgery is like good grooming.
Ain't that the truth? And our first aid director, the one we call The Voice, Damian Nova.
Some work. She's a quilt.
And our activity leader, the artist known as Vanetta Berry.
Hey y'all, looks like I'm wasting away here.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, our head chef, serving it up hot and spicy, Derek Anthony.
Tonight in the mess hall, we will be entertaining Guns N' Roses.
All right, before we begin, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro, and sorry for the microphone feedback. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summercamp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-PCR.tumblr.com. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Papi Chulo Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@PapiChuloRadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting PapiChuloRadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Papi Chulo Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. it's time for your feature presentation. Back to you, camp counselors. Oh, not again. Sorry for the feedback.
Thank you. It's time to fire up the film projector so that we can discuss 1996, The First Wives Club. Here's the official synopsis of the film. After years of helping their husbands climb the ladder of success, 3 wives have been dumped for newer, younger models. But the trio is determined to turn their pain into gain. They come up with a clever, devious plan to hit their exes where it really hurts, in the wallet. Sit back and watch the sparks fly as the wives get mad, get even, and get it all. Justice has seldom been so sweet or so much fun. All right. And as usual, we're going to do this rapid fire. Who's seen this before? Legionnaire.
Yes.
Diddley.
I did. Yes, I did.
Derek Anthony.
I am a man who occasionally lays down with other men, so yeah.
Okay. Vanetta.
Yes, I have seen this before.
And Damien Nova.
Yep.
Guess what? I had not.
Dude, really? Are you? Okay.
How did you not see this?
I
mean, it's not like Showgirls where you actively avoid it. Come on.
I had not
Turn
seen
one channel and it's on another channel. Like it's
I don't know how, but I missed this one. And can I just say this? It is like Showgirls because Elizabeth Berkley was in it. So there.
Okay.
the same character. She
Playing the
is
same
coming along in it again.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. Another all-star cast. Another Bette Midler movie. Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler, Diane Keaton, Maggie Smith, Sarah Jessica Parker, Stockard Channing, Victor Garber, Stephen Collins. We're going to talk a little bit about him in a little separate side thing later. Elizabeth Berkley, Marcia Gay Harden. Was Marcia Gay Harden fab or what? I was like, all right.
Yeah, she served it. I like that.
Yeah, I was not used to seeing her like that. She plays, gritty chicks, And Mr. Bronson Pinchot, Falky.
Did you say Heather Locklear?
Heather Locklear.
Absolutely.
Y'all, okay. You want to finish the list, y'all? No,
I just don't want you to miss her. That's all.
She was fab. Heather Locklear was fab, though. I'm skipping over some of the guys because let's be honest. This Ivana Trump, Kathy Lee Gifford, Gloria Steinem had a little. Gloria Steinem had a little. Leah Delaria.
Yeah, Leah Delaria. That's right.
J.K. Simmons.
And the rest.
Right.
But,
roll call.
No shout out to J.K. Simmons, the hardest working man in Hollywood.
He said that.
Oh.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons playing another J.K. Simmons cop role.
Right.
Cops and Nazis. That's J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
I'm going way down on this. Jon Stewart. Scenes deleted.
No, Jon Stewart didn't make it into the movie.
No. I'm looking at the. This is Jon Stewart scenes deleted. That's funny. And then they got Heather Locklear uncredited, way down on the list here. Hilarious. But anyone. Heather Locklear was huge on TV. I mean, she was on 2 shows at the same time. What was it? Was it T.J. Hooker and Dynasty?
She did both of those at the same time.
Yeah. Like working out. Marky Post did the same thing, right? With Night Court and The Fall Guy, right? Didn't they overlap?
That's a hard one.
I don't know because I never watched the Fall Guy, so I didn't know she was in that.
I think Fall Guy was right before Night Court. I think it was like right before it.
So she didn't cross. She didn't.
I think it was in syndication when Night Court was on.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, the dude that played Oscar Goldman, he was on Bionic Woman and $6 Million Man at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadly, you get points for not calling the show The Bionic Man and calling it by its proper name.
That's right.
See, that's why we call him the hip hop legend. Not just because he spits hot fire, but because he.
And just because I want to call out
Bionic Hot Fire.
What was that, Legionnaire?
I said, and just because I have to call out Dame Maggie Smith again.
Yeah. She was fab.
I mean,
again,
a
there's
look,
something
and
about
she
an
kills.
actress who can come in and, with just a couple scenes,
Right.
4 lines and
Pleasant
15 looks and killed everybody in the movie. Just 2 eye rolls and it was over.
And she was just like, she had no stock in the outcome of anything, but she was still down for just being a nefarious diva. I mean, it didn't affect her life at all, but she was like, okay, whatever, yeah, I'll do it. Shit. What else I got to do?
Because she was once a first wife as well as a second, third, and fourth wife.
Did you say Sarah Jessica Parker? SJP.
Yes, SJP.
Sarah Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
So where did
Who's
this
definitely
fall?
not as sexy as she thinks she is in this movie.
Where did this fall in her? Like, what has she been in to this point?
She was in Square Pegs.
Square Pegs. Who sang the theme song of Square Pegs?
But I don't think they
The
like
Waitresses.
The Waitresses, who also did I Know
What Boys Like.
Yeah.
I know.
And Christmas Stocking.
All right, 80s children.
She had also been in Annie with Victor Garber before this, so that was also kind of a cool connection.
Yeah, that's right. Victor Garber, who plays on the Legends of Tomorrow now. It's Professor Stein, one half of this.
Professor Stein.
Yeah, one
half
of
Firestorm.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. I was like, that's Dr. Storm. All right. So the movie starts with Starker Channing. And I was like, how is this going to turn? This is going to turn into a comedy, right?
Right.
So the movie does start at a very depressing point.
Yeah.
It starts, but,
Rich, the comedy. Yeah.
I kind of wanted to see more of Starker Channing.
Yeah.
But I mean, she set it off. At least they didn't get some anonymous,
Almost wish they had.
Actress.
Say what?
Nobody else would have sold it as well. I mean, Starker Channing sold that suicide. Like, she was. You saw she was ready to go. It was like, damn. Ooh,
right,
she giving away jewelry. Yeah.
Right. She was in pain. It was like, ooh, okay, girl.
She came out in her fur and her house clothes and a cigarette. And what was the neighbor? The neighbor said to her. The neighbor said something to her.
The neighbor just waved at her.
Yeah,
she was on the tread on the cycle.
Yeah, that young thin girl waved at her, which was the exact wrong thing she needed to see at that time.
Exactly. Exact last thing she wanted to see as she's going out.
And that was the response she gave. I will slightly tilt my head and slightly raise my glass.
I see the bitch pushed her over the edge. Literally. So, we have a powerhouse cast here. Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler, Diane Keaton as the three leads. And I like when I watch a movie and you feel like, well, I can't imagine three other people playing these parts. I mean, you can, but like, it's almost like fantasy football. You know, it's like I couldn't imagine three other actresses playing this part, playing these parts. Than these three.
Let's hope they don't try to remake it.
You know,
I would like to see that. That might be fun.
Okay, so let's play a little game of who would you cast. I think it would be funny to cast maybe one of the second wives. Well, then they couldn't be the first wives, but like if Sarah Jessica Parker came back and she played an older wife. Yeah.
But Heather Locklear and Elizabeth Berkley, you want back?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Well,
I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something now.
Not that deep, okay?
I'm going to say something now, and it's going to make me very unpopular on this podcast, or at least with the crew of this podcast. I believe that Sarah Jessica Parker really only has one note.
Yeah, I agree.
But let me ask you this, because we said this about Elaine Baranski a couple weeks ago. Does she have one good high note? You know, because some actresses are kind of
very medium,
right?
Does she have a high note, or does she, or is she like, you know?
She's an alto. She's an alto.
What was the name of that movie? The Tannenbaums. That's the name of it?
Royal Tenenbaums.
It was the Christmas movie that Diane Keaton was in also.
That who was in? Oh, The Family Stone.
The Family Stone, which was a very enjoyable movie, except Sarah Jessica Parker was in it.
Well, do you think she played the same?
I love that movie.
Well, what about New Year's Eve? Okay, let's name some Sarah Jessica Parker movies. Then.
Oh, not New Year's Eve. Oh.
No, I'm just saying.
Is New Year's Eve one of those movies where they went and got 50 stars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've never watched. I've never seen any of those movies.
Oh, it's so painful.
I have avoided those like Showgirl.
Do you think she played the same role? Like most of her movies, like what was the movie she made with? Okay, so she was in Hocus Pocus. She was in this. She was in.
Wasn't she an author in New Year's Eve too? Wasn't she an author in that too? It's
she played the mother. She played a mother role.
Yeah, she had a teenage daughter, and she was in Footloose as Rusty.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm not gonna be as unpopular as I thought I was.
L.A. Story. She was in L.A. Story with God dang it, who's the other person in that? Steve Martin.
I don't think just Sarah Jessica Parker's appeal is her acting ability. I think it's her. She's very. She's charismatic. She has a lot of her screen presence is, to me, that's the way I see Will Smith, but we won't go down that road. But she's really, I mean, you know, she has a lot of, she's cute.
Every girl quality.
She's cute.
I think she when she was younger, she had this sort of like, I'm natural. I look like a real person. I don't have a lot of plastic surgery, and so I think women kind of like her because of that.
She had a horse face,
right? Like I like her. She has better clothes than me, but she's not really prettier than I am. You know, it's like so women can relate to her that way. She looks like a real person, but I never thought that her range
charming. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. But I think she found the right role with the one with the good way. What was the show?
And she generally, and it's funny because you're right. As I think of her roles, her characters do all have a certain charm about them, even if they're not necessarily likable. But a serious departure from that is the show Divorce. And not that I would tell anybody to run out and watch it, but her role in that movie, she is charm. The TV show, yeah, I'm sorry. She is charm free.
What is it on?
It's on HBO.
It's on HBO.
And I was going to argue with Legionnaire, but then he said at the end her role is charm free, and I can't argue with him.
You can't.
About that. I can't. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. I watched the first season of that, and like every episode, I just wanted to like hit her with a frying pan.
You just wanted to hit her with a shovel. Every episode, you just wanted to hit her with a shovel. But anyway, because I know we talk about how her acting is, and I don't disagree. I agree with everything that's been said, and I wouldn't necessarily tout this role as something that's, breakout and different, but it's just interesting how her characters have a certain thing about them, but in this role in this series, it's like, ugh, girl, I just want to kick you in the teeth.
I kind of see her as the Lea Michele of her day. I'm in a movie and I'm acting, I
actually forgot she was in this. Like, I totally forgot. Like, most of the stuff I see her in, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, she is in this, because she's never like memorable. All the movies you guys named, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because she's never that memorable in anything she's ever been in, except for I guess this new show. But she's just
only because she's headlining it. But
I was gonna say it's her and dude. So
it is a testament to her persona that we have been talking about her for 10 minutes. So we will. I will give her that. So we've got
talking about her or dragging her, because those are two different things. But anyway.
But okay, so we've got these three powerhouse actresses: Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler, and Diane Keaton. And I thought they did a good job. I didn't think anyone was carrying the movie any more than anyone else. Goldie Hawn's character was a little bit different than the other two. But let's talk about Diane Keaton's character first. Are we Diane Keaton fans, or are we indifferent? Are we like, oh, I love Diane Keaton, or what?
I like Diane Keaton, but I guess I like Diane Keaton, and it's going to sound real fucked up. I like Diane Keaton for the same reason I kind of dislike Sarah Jessica Parker.
Right. Oh my God, yes.
Because Diane Keaton also plays the same type of role.
Same person.
I always like those people.
But she does angsty, anxious, neurotic. She does that very well. I will definitely agree. In a way,
they all run together, though. They all run together. Like you cannot throw like a modern Diane Keaton movie at me and expect me to know the difference between any other Diane Keaton movie, because they're so all the same. They're so.
I think part of the issue I have with Diane Keaton is that they I don't know if it's in her contract, but they style her as herself in her movies. The characters are styled to look exactly the way she looks in real life, and I always think that's kind of weird. I thought she was good in this. I thought she kind of veered into Mary Tyler Moore territory a couple times in some of her delivery, but I did like the character. She's an actress where I would ask you, Damien. She might have two notes. One of them is a high. It might not be a high B, but it might be. It might be.
Right.
I don't think. She. I think for this role, though, she was very well cast. Either that, or the role was written for her. It could be that. When you get as big as these actresses are. Yeah. I doubt if they auditioned for these parts. I could be wrong, but
Well, Bette Midler did. Bette Midler auditioned for the Elise part, and Goldie Hawn ended up getting that.
Well, they wanted someone who looked like they had been preserved. But hats off to Goldie Hawn. Well, let's talk about her.
Killed it.
For her playing this part, that kind of touched a little bit on reality. I think
each of their parts did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, a little bit like Goldie Hawn, like
their own reality. Yeah.
She, I'm sure a lot of her good looks and youthfulness comes from her, eating right, exercising, and stuff like that. But there has been some, other stuff going on. But she does not look.
She's no stranger to the knife.
Yeah, but she does not look artificial. I've never thought she looked overweight.
Oh, she does now.
Yeah, now she does.
Yeah, she looks like she's in Cats now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Now and forever.
Her face, she no move.
Does her face move? Now y'all know that Nicole Kidman listens to the show, so every time I say something bad about her, I gotta pay for her next Botox treatment. Y'all know. Do you think that her face moves more than? I think her face moves more than Nicole Kidman.
Well, Nicole Kidman is made of ice.
Damn.
Ice queen.
She's literally an ice sculpture that talks. So.
But y'all have to admit, in the Golden Compass, her face did not move.
No one's face moved in the Golden Compass.
Well, everything else was computer animated.
People be sitting there and disbelieve they couldn't believe they were there.
I think
right.
The computer animated polar bears and the little computer animated dogs look more real than she did.
Yeah.
But I mean, Goldie Hawn always had that girl next door, California girl kind of look. And I think in this movie, she could poke a little bit of fun of herself, and I'm glad that she had enough, that she was. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't think some actresses would have even went there, But so, what did you all think of her portrayal as Elise Elliott Acheson?
I think she did great.
I think she did a good job. I could not. It's hard to imagine Jessica Lange in that role.
Yeah.
Oh, was she supposed to play it?
Yeah.
That's what the director originally wanted. Yeah.
Oh no. And I love me some Jessica, but
me too. But it was just
that's
like
Goldie Hawn. That's all. Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. But it even says that they actually rewrote the character, and that's how it ended up going to Goldie.
Interesting. Very interesting.
All of their parts seemed very personal to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you got beyond the everybody's talking over each other thing, because that got on my nerves. But once you got past that, it was like, wow, these people are really dedicated to these roles because this kind of them. You know what I mean? Like Bette Midler's battle with her weight and Diane Keaton's sort of mousiness, and Goldie Hawn dealing with getting older, because I mean she was a kid on Laugh-In. So it's like, it's interesting. That part was interesting. That part.
It was funny because I didn't remember.
I just want to point out it was just that part that was interesting.
I couldn't remember what movie Goldie Hawn had won an Oscar for.
Did she win for Private Benjamin?
Cactus Flower.
Cactus Flower.
Yeah. She should have won one for Private Benjamin, but that was a good movie. It was funny. But so a lot of parallels with this character and her. And so we moved to Bette Midler, who played Brenda Morelli Cushman. And in some ways, even though I said earlier I didn't think anyone carried the movie more than anyone else, but I do kind of feel like Bette Midler.
No.
I kind of felt like her character was the most sort of centered in a way, even though I don't know, her character seemed more normal in some ways than the other two.
I think maybe her character was just dealing with something you could better wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Better relate to.
It wasn't as movie-fied as the other two. Like hers was, I've split up with my husband, and he's with this younger girl, and I'm dealing with being a single mother right now. He's taking all the money, but I still love him, and I know him, so I know this is just a phase, and it's very real. It was very honest.
She's a Jewish mother,
which ironically enough is why I hate the end of the movie.
Okay.
I kind of hated that too. I mean, we don't think linearly in this on the show. If you want to jump to anything, we can.
I did not like that they got back together in the end.
I didn't either.
Because this is my thing. Okay, yes, I still love you, but you were willing to literally leave me ass out to be with this hoe over here. What happens the next time you decide to leave me ass out and be with this hoe over here again, even though I have control of the money now? And I don't want you to stay just because I got control of the purse strings. So no, you can go back. You can go bye-bye with that.
Yeah, he was like a used car salesman. He was nasty.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. At first I was kind of like, did that really end like that?
That was just way too much Hollywood ending for me. Well, let's leave.
But didn't they? But isn't this based on a true story? Like, this is based on a real thing. Like, these three women got together and created this thing in New York, and for First Wives, this is real. I mean, it's definitely Hollywood-ified, but it's based on a real thing. And I thought that at the end, like the whole story, the whole reason Diane Keaton was narrating was because the parts that she was narrating were the actual real parts. Everything else was sort of Hollywood.
Right.
Am I wrong?
I know it was. I don't know that it was a real story.
Right. I know that it was based on the book, but I didn't know.
I
thought the book was fiction.
Okay.
But I wonder if the shelter or whatever they in real life was a battered women's shelter, or because I can imagine someone just opening like a First Wives. Like, I can imagine them having a First Wives club, but the women's center that they probably built was in real life was probably for battered women, or So, wow. All right. So, we have these three powerhouse actresses. Did you feel like
Virgin Mary, Bloody Mary, and vodka on the rocks?
Exactly. I'm gonna throw this to Vanetta. Vanetta, was there any moment where you were like wanted to baby shake any of these women, like like where is your brain? Or did any of it?
A lot of it kind of resonated in different ways. As a card-carrying member of the First Wives Club, I'm just like shaking my head and thinking, I remember watching this movie and I was much, much younger going, oh, that's really funny. Ha ha, revenge. And then after becoming a first wife, I was like, oh, yeah, this makes so much more sense. So I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I really did not like the ending as well. Like, as a kid, when I watched the movie, I was just like, I think I was a teenager, and I watched it and I was just like, oh yeah, they get back together happily ever after, woo woo. But as an adult, I'm looking at it like, nah.
Right.
no, that's unrealistic.
Right, and
completely unrealistic.
Because again, you didn't just leave me out there. There were points in that movie where he was fucking hurtful to her.
Yes.
Like that whole scene in the department store.
Right.
You know, where he literally blames her for her showing up, and you know, now you causing the scene. Now you don't listen. Fuck that.
Well, the financial abuse for me was the most heinous to her, because she makes the statement that, come on, babe, we gotta, this bar mitzvah is the only thing I can get your dad to agree to pay for.
Right.
Which means that anything else that they have or are getting is very minimal compared to the way, and when you see his house and all the accoutrement he has in his house, and then you see her little apartment.
Right.
I mean, that's the stuff that I was just like, yeah.
In most,
pretty real.
In most, we hear about a few high-profile divorces where the women get a lot of money, but in most wealthy marriages, the vast majority, when they split, the women are not getting those type of settlements. And people think just because what you see on TV, or you may read some articles about, this tycoon had to pay his ex-wife this such amount of money, but in a lot of cases it's not. And if you look at it in this,
it's a law in California, isn't
it? On a lower scale, if you look at it on a lower scale, the average woman who gets a divorce, a lot of times, these women are middle class women. They end up on food stamps or welfare or whatever, are struggling to take care of sometimes 2 or 3 kids or what have you. So there are parts of it where I was just like, in the sense that a lot of times the men do kind of get everything. And it's funny that Ivana Trump was in the movie, because the only reason she got what she got was because it was proven that she helped build those businesses, those hotels and stuff. If she had not, if they had not proved that she had helped build those businesses, she would not have gotten what she got. If she was just a trophy wife who didn't work, didn't do anything, it's likely that she would not have gotten the kind of
settlement
money that she did.
Well, that's why he won't move from New York, because New York doesn't have that law in place. And doesn't California have that law in place where wives get 50% whether or not they sign anything? Yeah. So in New York, I know it's very different. That's why this movie sometimes didn't make any sense. But at the same time, it was like, like she had to fight, like Goldie Hawn's character had to fight basically to go back and get all her shit back that she had given him as a gift. Like she had to walk in there and sort of steal her shit back because those laws weren't in place. Whereas in California, if this movie took place in California, it would have been a different movie. It would have been a completely different movie. So, I don't know.
And Goldie Hawn, I own a building. Like you own
just on the blue. Oh yeah, I own a building downtown.
I own a building.
When were you going to tell us that?
In downtown New York City.
Yeah.
Downtown New York City.
In Manhattan.
I'm thinking, how many...
The taxes alone.
How many movies have you been in? Like, bitch, you would have had to been on 10 TV shows. I mean...
Well, now, it depends. It depends.
And it depends where downtown.
On where it is and when she bought it.
Yeah. If it was the 80s or the 70s, then yeah, okay.
Yeah, she could have got that shit done.
Actually, the building looked like it was from the 80s.
I'm like, bitch, the only actresses that got that kind of money are the Olsen twins, okay? I'm like, okay. But this was 1990s. But even so, even in 1996, though.
Yeah.
That would have been a crap load of money. But I mean, it could have.
Like I said, it depends. It depends on when she bought it. Because if she bought it, the earlier she bought it, and she just kept it.
Yeah, true.
It didn't necessarily have to be that expensive.
True. And it did look more like a studio space than there wasn't a skyscraper, so.
And in the 90s, everybody could live in New York for some reason and not have to work 15 jobs and have 12 roommates because, the Friends cast were fine for the jobs that they had, and they should have been homeless. Every single one of them. Except for Ross. Except for Ross, maybe, but everybody else should have been.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then the one girl worked at not Starbucks, but a coffee shop.
Yeah, and her apartment was still nicer than mine in the 90s. And it's like, girl, there's no way. There's no way.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of TV shows have that, It's like, there's no damn way.
I would like to say something about Elisa's fan, my girl Boo from Orange is the New Black. I was just like,
oh yeah,
she had a job too, yay! That was kind of cool, and she's still playing. She's still being her. That was awesome.
She's a lesbian, a big one.
She's a lesbian. Yeah.
I believe she's a lesbian.
What did you guys think of the daughter? How willing she was to help bring her father down.
Oh, I love the daughter.
That was cute.
She was there for her mom. I appreciated that.
I like how she was going in at it. You didn't go to spend the night with him, did you? And it made it sound like it was like
you were at that man's house.
House. He's my husband. She was not having it. She was like,
No, he is your father. He was like, oh. That was a cute reveal, the way they did that. You were at that man's house. Oh, well, he is still your father. And you were like, oh, okay.
And he too was an asshole. I did enjoy her breakdown when she found out that the therapist she was paying for was sleeping with her.
That was sleeping with her husband. Oh,
especially because she couldn't get angry before.
I'm sorry.
She punched him with that thing.
Marcia Gay Hart was funny though. Okay, she can work with this. I was like, no, she didn't. Trying to make
She's
it
allowed to be angry. Annie, let's use this. Like,
yeah.
Shit.
She's like, bitch, I'm like, use you.
Well, I would have found something. That would have been a different movie.
Because that's one of those times where you can't. I mean, are you white in New York too? You a white woman in New York? She could have got away with murder.
Oh yeah.
She was Emily Annalise. She could have got away with all that
Absolutely. All the murder.
Like, I don't know what happened. I found out that my husband was with the therapist. We had been going to fix our marriage, and the next thing I knew, everybody in the room was dead.
I blacked out.
Everybody was in pieces.
I loved all the physical comedy stuff. We needed more of that, like the slapping and the Three Stooges slapping scene, and when they were the window washing thing. Too,
I love that scene with them on the window washer.
Mm-hmm.
Screaming, "You look great!" and she does the whole, "Oh, thank you,
you look great." That was funny. So let's talk about these guys. Okay, we have Dan Hedaya as Morton Cushman, Victor Garber as Bill Atchison, and Stephen Collins as Aaron Paradis. So, and we can throw Balky in there too. We got Bronson Pinchot as Dualto Felice. Ooh, what was that?
No, I just wish he had more lines. I love Bronson Pinchot. He always sort of gets. He always sort of gets those two. There's 2 or 3 lines.
One of the 10 worst interior decorators. I love that.
Oh my God, I loved it. When he screamed at that chair, I was dead.
It's agony.
He's like, cover it up.
This chair is agony. Oh my God, I was out.
So, why don't you think Bronson Pinchot's career? Was he one of those actors who was sort of ambiguously gay? You know, like back in the day, like a lot of these guys, like actors, they would sort of languish in the soaps. You know, like people knew that they were gay in Hollywood, so they never sort of made that jump from. But he got some pretty big opportunities, but things never really. Like, I remember when he played in the Stephen King, it was a miniseries called The Langoliers.
The Langoliers,
I was gonna say he always struck me as one of those actors that really wanted to break away from
bulky
roles that linked him to bulky, but was never really able to do it because he's done things outside of that. But I think it's one of those things where that character's become so iconic that he's not able to get away from it. And I think he's always had.
Which is so weird because that show was okay. Well, yeah, but Robin Williams was a man of many faces.
Right.
Now, Bronson Pinchot has sort of one face, and he has to sort of work with that one face he has.
Exactly.
And it sort of, every time you see him, it's like, oh, Belky, you know, and it's like, oh, that's sad, but at the same time, you know, it's
I think you make a good point. I think you make an interesting point in that with Robin Williams, even though Mork is so iconic, he has the kind of he can use his face enough that you can see him in different roles, so that he's been able to transition to all kind of different roles. But Bronson Pinchot doesn't,
and they haven't all been successful.
Great. Oh, absolutely.
You know, and when Robin, especially in the beginning there, like when he did the mini, what was that? The something of Garp, whatever that movie was.
The World According to Garp.
World According to Garp, which I liked, but still wasn't a breakout role for him. You know, we didn't, you know, maybe until Dead Poet Society. You know,
right. I mean, because he did some movies like, wasn't he in? He wasn't in Moscow on the Hudson, was he?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Yeah. And he did movies like that.
In Vietnam, you know, it was sort of, it was like everything was Mork, but at the same time, you know, but Bronson Pinchot hasn't been.
I believe you're leaving out Popeye, which was not Mork at all.
Popeye was a breakout role. Popeye was a breakout role.
It was amazing.
He was with.
It was a breakout role.
It was
amazing.
Tremendously.
Well, I mean, it took him.
I am what I am.
And so was Good Morning Vietnam. He got a lot of critical acclaim for that movie.
Yeah,
he did.
He got a lot of good. But Bronson Pinchot, the thing about Bronson Pinchot, which I'm not going to harp on sexuality or anything, but you know, Robin Williams.
There's a few sexually ambiguous people out there that did very well.
Yeah.
Like
Maxwell. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about. I'm
talking about actors. I'm sorry.
I'm talking in the 80s, in the 80s, the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s. Because you know, I wouldn't call Robin Williams leading man by any stretch, but he was able to play, you know, a range of parts, and he also had that voice. I think that voice helped him too, you know.
And the cocaine.
Cocaine always.
Cocaine.
I agree.
It's a hell of a drug.
Robin Williams you could not hear Robin Williams speak. Whereas, because every time he talked, even if everything wasn't funny, he was going to get in at least 4 on you that made you giggle.
Right.
Whereas Bronson Pinchot is just sort of like, oh, you're playing this guy. I think he's more. Bronson Pinchot was definitely a character actor. I think he wanted to move into more like Johnny Depp territory to do more like these character pieces, because according to a lot of stuff, like he had auditioned for a lot of stuff and didn't get it. I think he auditioned for Edward Scissorhands,
Yes.
And some others, like some other stuff that he was really into Tim Burton. He wanted to do more Tim Burton things, and he just never. I don't know. He just, because Tim Burton and Johnny Depp are up each other's ass. So, but it's like it's interesting. I agree that his career has been, I guess, steady, but not
steady, but not stellar.
No, he's busy, but he's not as busy as we think he should be. I think he should be on stage more.
I can see him on a show like Gotham or something quirky.
Well, he did The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Yeah,
he was a character in that.
Okay.
It's always good to see him though. Like when you see him in a movie, when I see him in a movie, I'm like, oh, there's Bronson Pinchot.
I generally tend to appreciate anything that I see him in.
Yeah.
So the other
guy, to answer your question, Maurice, another sexually ambiguous person that I would throw out there that has had great success is Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. But I mean, is he so much sexually ambiguous as he is sort of
asexual?
Right, he doesn't talk about it. Other people have said things about him, but Kevin Spacey does have. He's not one of my favorites, but he does have a presence. He does have a presence, and I'm not trying to act like, Bronson Pinchot is the best actor in Hollywood. Why is he in everything?
Oh, no.
I'm not trying to say that. And the people that we're mentioning in the same, in the same breath as him, I think they deserve their success. I think Kevin Spacey definitely deserves what.
Oh my God,
what's coming his way. As the Robin Williams. It might be heresy to say that I think my favorite Robin Williams things that he did was Mork and Mindy, So let's talk about the other main guys, because we have Stephen Collins, who played, what was the show? I never watched it, that he played on.
Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him from like movies. He would always play like the handsome dad. The handsome dad or the handsome husband or the handsome, which kind of what he was playing here. He's had a little bit of controversy himself lately.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Huh?
Just a little.
Just a little. He played a character to like young women, and apparently in real life he liked really, really young girls.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A guy who plays a hyper Christian dad in a TV show is actually a pedophile.
Okay, I'm not sure what sound that was, but okay.
It was.
That was my forced gasp.
Yeah, he was clutching his metaphysical pearls.
Yes.
Yeah, but Stephen Collins always played like likable. So even in this, he was despicable, but he came across as kind of like.
I disagree. I don't think any of the men came across well. Any of the husbands came across well in this movie. Again, he met up with his wife to tell her he wanted a divorce, and he decided that he would have one more role and to hang with her.
While he invited the other woman to his hotel room.
Right.
He was despicable.
But she didn't know.
Actually schlepping.
She didn't know that they were going to be there, right?
But he knew there was a possibility that she could show up.
Exactly.
She knew where he was.
Exactly.
He was definitely the slimiest of the three.
Do you think so? What about
Absolutely.
What about Victor Garber?
No, Bill and the 16-year-old.
Well, yeah. He did have the I didn't know she was 16 thing, which to be fair, they wanted Elizabeth Berkley to play a 16-year-old. She didn't look 16 when she was 16.
She wasn't.
Can we talk about just for a moment Elizabeth Berkley, a bad actress, badly playing a bad actress?
I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was genius.
It was a little genius.
It's one of those. But was she in on the joke is the question.
I don't think she was. I don't think she was in on the joke.
Clearly, she was not.
That's why it was genius. Because I don't think. Because especially after Showgirls, it was like, are you
director? Can you give me some direction? Just do you, sweetheart.
Right. It felt like a prequel to Showgirls. Actually, it felt like before she left.
Like after all that went south, Las Vegas. She went to Vegas.
Yeah, she moved to Vegas. Yeah.
Maybe
because they found out she was 16 and she had to leave. She had to run.
Maybe we've uncovered something. Maybe that's why she had to go to prostitution.
The same universe.
She moved to Vegas.
So, it's the same universe.
The First Wives cinematic universe.
Morton Cushman, his character, he always played the same character too. Like, he always played like working class guys. He would show up on Facts of Life as Joe's father, or he always played like mechanics and that, so he was a little bit typecast. This, he was definitely a character actor. I couldn't decide whether Victor Garber's character was supposed to be kind of heartthrobby or. I couldn't tell because I'm so used to seeing him as Professor Stein. Even then, even looking at him younger, I was just like, was he supposed to be kind of dreamy for the time, or?
Yeah, he's been 60s.
Yeah, I think so. 60s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They painted him very Sean Connery. Like his beat was real Sean Connery. So he was very orange gold.
He was supposed to be kind of suave and debonair.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah,
so let's talk plot. Were there any holes that needed to be filled?
Everybody.
That's what everybody needed, right?
No, we're not doing phrasing anymore.
Are we still doing phrasing?
But I thought this movie was pretty put together well. Even though it was a little zany and there was some things like, oh, I own a building. Oh, you own a building? Yeah. Stuff like that. That was just kind of like, okay, that was convenient, but
Ex Machina. Yeah.
It did its job.
No, there was some Scooby-Doo-isms, like things.
It was so much Ex Machina. Like, let's go out on this ledge. Oh, yeah, this just happens to be the window washer. Where is the window washer? Where is he? Because he just left his shit there. Like, was he on break? Was he on break in their house?
With the control. Yeah. So, this is the updated version of How to Marry a Millionaire? Yeah.
No, because in this instance, you create the millionaire, and then he leaves you.
Yeah. How to save a hoe.
How to save a hoe. Funny, too funny. Anyone have a favorite cameo?
See, I don't want to say Maggie Smith was a cameo.
No, because she wasn't. She wasn't a cameo.
She was intricate to the plot.
Yeah. I would never call her a cameo.
I think
not said fork.
I mean, just
get the fork.
It's like
I think I'd have to to see Heather Locklear.
It's like, please get my fork from that bitch.
Right.
Social climbers on the rise.
That's my favorite line of hers.
I'd have to say Heather Locklear was because a good cameo has to be someone like really famous, but yet she had no credit in the movie. There was no credit. She's really famous, but she was just kind of there, and I think that's a good cameo.
Yeah.
Because even for the time, I mean, she was people who watch TV. Mm-hmm. Would have been really like, oh my God, that's Heather Locklear, and I was a little bit like that when I saw this. I was like, why didn't they put her name in the credits? I mean, she didn't really do anything, but I think that look she gave, those looks she was giving
which was having her nipple tweets.
He was squeezing her titty at the bar mitzvah. I was like, ooh.
At the funeral.
No, that was at the funeral.
That was. Oh, that's right. That was
I don't know. It sounds like Heather Locklear was maybe on set, and they were like, "Can you do this for us real quick?" Like it's just like she was like in the building, like, and they were like, "Can you feel like throwing on a black dress real quick and going to do this?" Like that's the way her cameo felt. You know what I'm saying? Like it was not planned, and maybe that's why she's not credited. But mine was Kathy Lee Gifford because her bad acting was glorious. Like it is, it is glorious how bad she is in this movie. For her only lines. When you only had one job, interview. Isn't this your job? Is it this your job? This is your job.
Interview.
Not even acting, just interviewing. And we understand you have lines that are supposed to coincide with the said interview. However, interviewing is your job. And you still did it poorly. That is hilarious to
me. How dare you? I love me some Kathy Lee.
Oh, I love me some Kathy Lee. She makes me want to vomit in my mouth.
Which brings me back to that movie that I think we talked about last week, a few weeks back, where someone dissed. They love Kathy Lee and they dissed that new girl,
Kelly Ripa.
Kelly Ripa.
Remember that? Yeah, they said one of those movies we were watching. They were talking shit about Kelly Ripa and said it's all about Kathy Lee.
One of us was trashing Kelly Ripa.
Something, man. He got me flustered because I'm a Kathy Lee fan. You got me just all flustered.
Oh, well.
I haven't watched that show since Kathy Lee left. It's been trash.
Don't get me started on Kelly. I forgot there was Ivana Trump, who, as we know, her daughter is now First Lady.
Listen.
Her daughter is not our First Lady. What are you talking about?
Her line, don't get mad at everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I prefer.
I mean, it was delivered with the intensity of a dead, cat. It was just
don't
very.
Get mad. Get everything.
And I don't even think she was looking at them. I don't even know if they were. They didn't look like they were in the same room.
I looked at that scene. I'm not sure they shot that scene together.
No, they were not in the same room. They couldn't have been.
Don't get mad.
Because her eyes were not on them.
Get everything. She sounded like a cross between Iman and Ariana Huffington.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Iman and Natasha.
Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle. That's what she is.
I want Moose and Squirrel.
Moose and Squirrel.
Get everything.
Boris.
Natasha Fatal. Crazy Moose and Squirrel. Boris Badenoff and Natasha Fatal. Gloria Steinem, her cameo was just kind of like, there's Gloria Steinem.
Right. Yeah, I forgot, actually.
Oh, look, it's Gloria Steinem.
Yeah. It's like, hey, girl.
Of an old Animaniacs episode. He also put out a swimsuit calendar.
I forgot about little Brett Artunian, the little guy that said, "Oh, let's make her disgusting." To Goldie Hawn's character. I was like, that's messed up. You know, highlighting and so. Alrighty, let's go to the let's see what awards this movie was nominated for. Oh my goodness! Wow. So this movie was nominated for an Oscar for Best Music, Original Music, or Comedy Score, 1997.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah. Because a lot
Y'all are hard.
No, the most of the music in this movie did not match.
well, a lot of it wasn't original music.
Right.
I guess some of the sort of R&B ballads and stuff that was original for the movie. I mean, it did have some, you know, it had some, you know, Aretha and Annie Lennox, two of my favorite people. But I don't think that's the music that was nominated, though.
No, it was the original.
No, it was the orchestral score.
Yeah. And a lot of that wasn't original. Some of it wasn't original. Like it was like some opera music.
It was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
So it was award winner, the ASCAP Awards, which was not held at Vanetta's video store, but at Derek's. That's where they have those awards.
Mm-hmm.
Top box office films. Mark Shaman. I don't even know what the hell that award is. American Comedy Award. Funniest Actress for Goldie Hawn, American Comedy Award nominee. Diane Keaton.
Mark Shaman is a composer.
Yeah, he was the composer for the. He composed the original score for the movie.
Yeah, they actually won that one.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Oh, and here's one of the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards.
Yay.
For Best Actress Comedy, Goldie Hawn. I remember when Eric presented her with that award. That was touching. I remember. Casting Society of America, Best Casting for Feature Film Comedy. All right. No, I can see that. I mean, you know, casting.
It was a well put together cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
National Board of Review USA NBR Award winner, Best Acting by an Ensemble. And everybody is listed. And there are other awards, but we won't get into that because the most important awards are the ones that we give out. And we are going to give out a few of our own. And this is going to be like the lightning round. So let's start with the sexiest moment.
Sexiest moment?
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah, real sexy. Mm-hmm.
No sexy?
I'm out.
I thought it was sexy watching Goldie Hawn dancing with the lesbians in the bar.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Because she was having a real good time.
Well, Sis had a bad day.
Right, so she was cutting loose.
It gave her the ego boost she needed.
Right.
Best musical number.
You Don't Own Me.
You don't own me.
Ugh.
Worst
that was good. Worst musical number.
You Don't Own Me.
You Don't Own Me.
No, you didn't. That was flawless right there.
The most non-politically correct moment. When she went back with him after he ho-hopped and went with that chick, and now I just didn't get.
I don't think that was politically incorrect. I think that was just stupid. Maybe the fact that nobody took care of the maid. Who was clearly.
It sounds like she's probably still working for the husband.
Right.
Probably. No,
I guess they were divorced, so she was working for her. So now you done killed yourself. She out of a job, but she got your pearls. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, she's good. For me, I guess it would be the fact that they never prosecuted old dude that was having sex with an underage girl. That never happened.
I had a question because I wasn't sure whether she was actually underage because they kept saying everything he does is legal so far as he knows. So I was like, well, did they just trick him and have that printed up? Like, did they run the Kinko's and make that?
No, they said that they uncovered actual information. That
she was really 6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Diana Ross being 24 in the web. That's just suspension of disbelief. It's just hard for my brain to handle.
Well, yeah. I mean, Elizabeth Berkley looked like she was about 45 in this.
Clearly 40.
Was this after Showgirls or before?
Yeah,
it was.
It was like the first thing she did after Showgirls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So who was the Queen of Shade?
Oh, that was
Maggie Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Where she said, it was a tragedy. Your lips.
Can we just
when I saw you, I just thought, she's something.
Yeah. She's somebody.
She's something. So who gets the Mickey Rooney Award for Excellence in Child Acting?
In child acting.
So is Elizabeth considered a child?
In which case, I still can't give it to her.
Right.
We should have done that. We should have done that for the last movie. We could have given that to little Seth Green.
Well, I think the little Jewish boy with his bar mitzvah wins. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he was good.
He wasn't bad.
He was charming.
I didn't cringe. He was a little whiny though. All right, so the moment of truth. Let's rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10 marshmallows. And we're gonna start with. Did he just stick in? I hate kids. Let's start with you, Damien. How many marshmallows?
I don't know. I liked it better when it came out. Rewatching it, there are a lot of shit in this movie that just annoys the balls off of me.
Ew.
Yeah, just the over talking and some of the screeching and the everything is supposed to be funny all the time, constantly.
That's like our show.
It sounds like an episode of The View. What?
That sounds like an episode of our show.
Yeah, I mean, just the constant, it was just like, oh my, shut up. So I don't know, but everybody was fine in it. I'm not a Diane Keaton fan. But five marshmallows.
Yeah, that's decent. Vanetta.
I enjoyed the movie. I liked it when I first watched it. I think I watched it with my mother. And she's a big Bette Midler fan. And I watched it again. It kind of reminded me of watching it with her the first time. Mm-hmm. As an adult watching it is very different. And I had my thoughts about it. But overall, I like the movie. And I'm giving it 8 marshmallows.
Oh, cool. Okay. Derek. Anthony.
I would rate this movie higher if Bette Midler had not got back with her husband. That just really took a swan dive for me at that point. So I'm going to have to give it 7 marshmallows.
Okay. Legionnaire.
I really enjoyed this movie. I wished I had been able to see it in the movie theater. And I would give it a 9, but again, much like Derek, as much as it was about female empowerment and all that, I didn't like that Brenda went back to Morty. I just didn't like that. I would have liked to see her story really focus on the raising of her son and being a strong woman on her own and finding love with somebody who really had respect for her. Because it's like Derek said, I mean, it wasn't that he left. I mean, he left, for a younger girl and then just kind of, put her ass out. And then all of a sudden it's like, now you want to appreciate that she's a good woman. Well, okay, I'm glad you appreciate that I'm a good, smart woman. Now fuck off.
Right.
Hello.
And Mr. Deadly.
It's all about Goldie Hawn. And her lips and everything about her. I'm gonna give it at least a 7.5. I'll give it a little half a marshmallow up on there. 7.5.
Okay. So we've had some pretty decent ratings for this movie. I'm gonna give it a nice solid 6. It has some funny moments. It was well acted for the most part. I was disappointed with the ending as well, with the Bette Midler's character. But overall, I liked it. And I'd never seen it before, so now I can finally say I've seen First Wives Club. I don't know if I watched it again, but I did enjoy it. So, okay, everyone, it's time to report back to your cabins. Your bunk beds are waiting for you. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Summer Camp. Once again, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summer Camp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Now, back to you, camp counselors.
Thank you. My fellow camp counselors, please wish our campers and the listeners a good night.
Good night, y'all.
Do it, Morris. Do it to me now. I need it. You're the only one who does it the way I like it. You're the king.
Everybody say it with me. Don't get mad. Get to everything.
I got nothing. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in. Good night and lights out.